All right. All right. So 12 months, and there's 52 weeks in a year. How many weeks are you going to actually put into this?
Probably 48.
48. Awesome. And that's real, because you need to take time off. You need to get away from it every now and then. And whatever your time off is, whatever it is for you to recharge. Well, like I said, when the kids were growing up, it was a regular event for us to get away. Even actually, even before the kids were growing up, it was a regular event for us to get away, because you're in sales, and sales can be extremely emotional, not for necessarily our side, but dealing with the clients who are emotional on a regular basis, right? So then down here, how many days of the week are you committed to the business?
7.
7.
Yes, I know. I have no life. I travel when others don't, because then nobody answered when they're on vacation. So I was here on Christmas
Absolutely.
and I got some
Yes,
listening.
absolutely. And that's I got to tell you, that's that always pays off. For those of you that's new at this, a lot of times experienced agents, and please don't take this the wrong way for those of you that are experienced, but experienced agents usually shut down around Halloween. They're done for the year. They've met their goals, they're okay, and they're done. They'll still answer the phone, but they're not going to do a whole lot of hustling. And that's where, as a new agent, and just like she was talking about, when we came back to the Valley, every day except for Thanksgiving and Christmas, every day, doesn't matter. Christmas Eve, I was showing property. That was interesting. And the day after Christmas, I had kids to feed, right? I mean, it's life. You got to do that. All right. So on here, based on the numbers she's provided, and for the benefit of the rest of you taking a look at this, when you're looking at this, this is telling us that on a daily basis, she has to try to talk to at least one person. Try to talk to. She actually has to talk to one person about listing their property for sale, or who do they know that might be interested in listing their property for sale. So she needs 7 attempts or 7 talks for the week. That's really, really good. And this is one of the reasons why I love this. This was coming to RE/MAX. This was one of the things that, this is one of the best tools I've ever seen, because what I showed you earlier is what I had used. I knew what I needed for the month, and I knew what a day was worth and a week was worth, but to break down the activities like this and having this set up this way, awesome tool. I had something like this in an Excel spreadsheet, but I ran it backwards, right? If I wrote 6 contracts for the month, where did they come from? How did I meet them? I ran it backwards, which gives you the same thing this is, but this is so much easier to work with. So much easier for planning purposes. So if I know that I need to talk to one person a week, or 7, or 1 a day, 7 for the week, 28. I need 28. I need to talk to 28 people for the month. I need to talk to 28 people a month to be able to get the listings I need. And remember, I need to take 31 to get 25 in this situation. I need to talk to 28 people. If I talk to 28 people, I will get from my network 3 listings. Let me get 3 listings if I talk to 28. And in my mind, that brings up so many different perspectives. Zig Ziglar used to have a thing that he said that as a salesperson, every time he'd go knock on a door, he knew that they had his money. All I have to do is get them to say yes, and it becomes my money, right? That was his focus. And every time I knocked on the door and they said no, what they're actually telling you is, you haven't provided me with enough information. So give me some more information. And when you give them that information, you do that in the form of asking questions. So just not to turn this into a prospecting, but to tie it in with the goals. For example, if I go knock on a door and say, my name is Mac McFarland, I'm with RE/MAX Elite, I'm just curious, are you thinking about selling your home? Or have you thought about selling your home? They go, no, not at all. right? Let's say you walk in a neighborhood. No, not at all. So is that not at all now or not at all in the future? And if they say, no, not at all, period, we're going to be here forever and ever. Great. Who do you know that might be thinking about selling? And you're prospecting, you're looking for that lead that might be interested in selling their home, putting their home on the market. So all of this can work. All of this can work. And this is a really good tool for you to do that. And this works. So everywhere where you see the clear, here is a place where we plugged in on the operational model, how many we need from that particular one. So you do the same thing with it over here. You plug in the same numbers. Remember down here, it's not the same numbers because each activity is different. Remember, this is RE/MAX National, right? So underneath sign calls, for example, we have on the experienced or excellent, we have 80, 90, 95. And then we have 95, 15. Ooh, sign calls don't have anything. Sign calls do not have any numbers. Why doesn't sign calls have numbers? You notice down here on the bottom where that's blank? Why wouldn't they have numbers in there? Anybody? Because if you look at it, it's not just sign calls, it's open houses, it's ad calls, just listed calls, internet leads, RE/MAX. Why would they have blanks in there? Anyone? So the simple answer to that is you cannot, you don't make that happen. It's not predictable, right? And like Mike Ferry used to say, we want to do whatever we do, we want it to become duplicatable and predictable. Duplicatable and predictable. And sign calls, I can't make somebody call a sign, right? And unless I have enough signs out there, I'm not going to generate that business that way. Or unless I have additional things like open house signs, for example, can generate a sign call. An open house sign can, but not just the sign itself. What else have you done with it? Do you have flyers out there? Do you have balloons attached to it? Do you have flags attached to it? What are you doing to draw attention to that sign to generate that call? But again, you have no control over that happening. Where in networking, I have attempts. I can't attempt a sign call. Does that make sense to everybody? For those of you that are listening?
Yes.
Got one person listening. That's great. Good deal. Anyway, and it's the same thing with the other ones here. Internet, website, RE/MAX. Those are not, thanks, Terry. Thanks. Okay, so there's more than one. I appreciate it. Thanks. It was just
Matt, can I ask you a question?
sure,
Like,
please.
okay, now that there are plenty of the agents that have experience, anything that you guys recommend for an open house? Because I've been working open houses lately and it doesn't work the same as before. So something that can work. I mean, something that you can recommend, even though I plan it ahead and all that stuff.
Right. Anybody have any tips for her to get the open houses to work real quick?
I would say to make sure the agent has it in the MLS as well, because then it shows up on Zillow. I know Matthew with the KB team does that. So every time I do an open house for him, I get a lot more traction that way.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just put enough signs outside, maybe balloons, so people can know, because sometimes they just put open house and the house is closed, like, so people gets kind of frustrated. Put it on Instagram, do it in social media, put it on whatever, La Pulgas and all of those places on Facebook Marketplace and stuff. So that helps. But what it really helps me, it's the open house for realtors. because they go, eat for free, see your house, and if they have a client that's looking for that, they will remember. So for me, it works better than the open house or open to, regular to the public. So just an advice.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so let me just tie in with this if I could. Somebody mentioned the Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist are two places every open house should be. It doesn't cost anything to put them out there, right? Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist are free. That's free advertising. Put it out there on a regular basis. Signs, mentioned it before, directional signs. Our goal has been, this is what I was taught in Austin, you put 20 directional signs out. 20 directional signs out will help drive traffic to that open house. And the last one, a realtor open house. But again, that's where your planning comes into play, because I want to do a realtor open house, but I want to do it right prior to my open house. If I'm doing an open house on Sunday from 2 to 4, which means the Cowboys aren't playing, if I'm going to do an open house on Sunday from between 2 and 4, I'm probably going to do a realtor open house, say on Tuesday or Thursday, something like that, and let them know that I'm doing the open house. So if they have anybody, send them to the open house. They'll be protected. It's not a big issue, but I want to be able to market to those realtors, to the realtors clients, as well as to the consumer. Does that make sense? You want to tie them together. Duncan, do you have something you want to throw in there? Or you just turn your camera on so we can see you? All right. Okay. Awesome. Thanks. All right. All right. So, and again, on this, when you're doing this, this works either one of these systems. You can use the Excel spreadsheet that I shared with you, or you use this one, which I also shared with you in the links. This is the Remax one. They both work, but it takes time to put them together. It takes a little bit of time to get them together. If you need help with it, you can always shoot me a text or an email, and we'll set up a time where we can sit down and actually work through some of this, like we did with hers a little bit today as we're working through this, right? And again, this is just to get you going in the right direction, because that's what this tells us. If I know that I need to talk to 7 people this week, if I know that I need to talk to 7 people this week, then I need to put it on my schedule to get that accomplished. And I'm going to time block when that happens. Networking. What am I going to do this week for networking? And if there's not anything already scheduled, then I want to make something. I'm going to create something within my schedule to make that happen. Does that make sense? You are in charge of your schedule all the way around. Cool. Anybody have any other questions about that part of this? Nope. All right, so once again, I want to show you this schedule just to give you an idea for those of you that may have missed it in the past. This is I use Google, as most of you know. I use Google for just about everything. And when I look at the Google training schedule, like for example, this is everything the company has going on. That's all in yellow. If I put it on the monthly plan, you can see it, or orange, or whatever color that is, right? And in here you have the link. If there's handouts for it, there may be links for it. There, you may have those in here as well. So like here for this one, we're doing training revised addenda. So I have the link to Trek in here with it. I try to set this up so that it's workable for you guys. This link works. I understand that some of you, and I'll do some research on it myself, but I understand some of you are trying to get the link to work this morning because you're using Safari or something else. I'll find out why that's not working, but this is the link, and it's the same link, whether it's company training or core curriculum. It's going to be the same link, right? When we start doing CE, it'll be different, because on that one, I'm going to require it to register for them so we know who all is going to be there. But what I wanted to show you on this is, if I want this, for example, to copy over, all I do is I click on the dots and I can copy it over to wherever I need it at, right? And I show you that because when you're working your schedule, whether you do an annual schedule with highlights, which is probably what I would recommend, an annual schedule with highlights, meaning that things I have to do or want to do are a part of my scheduling system. Plug those in on an annual basis. I'm not going to plug in my prospecting on an annual basis as far as the details, but I have a basic program, a basic schedule, yes. And that's what this is. This was prospecting and phone duty. Prospecting and phone duty. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is the old schedule. Like on Fridays I would do marketing, internet, MLS, Craigslist, all those things would be on there, right? And then on Monday mornings, I would do prospecting for sale by owners online, like Zillow, Facebook, etc. Right? Visible.com, for sale by owner.com. So just having a schedule like this, and then you fine tune it. So at the end of, we're talking about goals and etc. At the end of each month, I would go in here and I'd plan out what I'm going to do the next month in detail. But this schedule is the base that I would use for all of it. It's all the same, right? Open house, it's always that day. Now, years ago, we used to do 6 open houses every weekend, but when Trek changed it, we changed it to this where we do 1 day of open houses because they changed the rules on us, right? And we need to make sure that we're doing it correctly so we don't have any issues. But having this in here, and if I don't want to do that on that particular day, I can go in and just delete it, or I can move it to someplace else. But it allows you to work your schedule for you, right? Just like right here, touch each working 3 hours. That buyers and sellers, you're going to call them, you're going to touch base with them. Everybody's working. This is what's going on for this week. And again, you can move that around. I want to do that. Say I want to do it on Friday instead of on Thursday. You can do that. It's not a big deal, but have a base plan to work from, and that's where Google Calendar comes into play really well. Anybody have any other questions or comments there? Anybody? No. And I do use the Google Calendar for everything. In fact, let me show you one other one real quick before we go. This comes from a national trainer. Let me show you this one. Now, the one we're looking at, it was actually mine. That was my schedule. So that I can tell you all about that one. This one I can't tell you a whole lot about, but I will tell you that it is a 12-month schedule, one of the national trainers. And it is so busy, I would have a hard time keeping up with it. However, it's the same way. It's time block, right? Client appointments, 1:30 to 2:30. Here's 3 to 4:30. So an hour and a half for client appointments. But it doesn't say she has an appointment with Jim Bob. It just says that's where her appointments are going to be, right? You have the power hour. She has this on there. 9 to 10 is power hour. What are you doing during power hour? Right? You have a team meeting, hot leads and database follow-up. You need to follow up. Put it on the schedule. Put it on the schedule that you're going to be doing follow-up. Social media posting and interaction. Put it on your schedule so you can work from it. Anybody know whose schedule this is? Nope. Anybody familiar with Marky Lemons? Marky Lemons? That's where that came from. It's absolutely where that came from. Anyway, all right. Anybody have anything else? Goals and objectives, plug them into your calendar so that you can make them work for you, so that you can be successful in this business. Love to see all of you still here 5 years from now. And that's directed primarily toward the newer agents because we have the highest turnover rate of any profession there is. And a lot of that comes from a lack of training and a lack of desire to succeed. But all right, words of wisdom, Duncan? No words of wisdom. Okay. All right. All right. If you guys need anything, you can always shoot me a text or an email. We have training again tomorrow. In fact, We have this core curriculum all this week. It's pretty heavy. We have something pretty much every day. Tomorrow we have company training, and then we have in the afternoon, we have the 12-week year. We'll tie into what we talked about today, but we'll work off of the 12-week year, which again, there's tools for that, and it works. I'm of the belief that you have to have some kind of a plan, your key elements plugged in for the year. I absolutely believe that, but I also understand how the 12-week year works, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning, we have contract presentation, and then on Wednesday we have Remax.net, Tiles, CRM, KV Core, right? And that'll be it for the week. We'll see you all in the morning with a smile on your face. Duncan's Ring and Tacos. All right. See
Thank you,
guys.
Mac.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.